Hello everyone, I'm H.A.K, and if you want to know what that stands for and what in the world it has to do with my intro, feel free to ask me. Alec Baldwin, Russell Brand, these two singers that I don't really know, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and then of course the Scientologist Tom Cruise being Stacey Jax. And all that put together leads us to this review of Rock of Ages.
Put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come and take your time and dance with me.
So the story of Rock of Ages is... Wait, if you do not want to know what the plot is, if you haven't seen this movie yet, that's fine. Just move on to this particular section on the timeline so you can skip at me talking about the plot. Anyway, the story is about this woman named Sherry who goes to Los Angeles to try to become a popular singer. She meets this barback named Drew who helps her find a job at the bar called the Bourbon Room, where it's pretty much a place of drinking and having a lot of bands play and stuff like that. Now, the owner of the bar, Danny, and his right-hand man, Lonnie, are arranging to have this big singer kind of rock star guy named Stacey Jax to come and play at their bar so that they can take care of tax and stuff for owning the bar. Meanwhile, the mayor's wife, who is this religious conservative, is trying to ban rock and roll from LA or something like that. Now, on the whole, this movie was just as I suspected. The music is awesome, the choreography was pretty cool at some points. The characters, most of them were either interesting or just a lot of fun. And if there was one thing that was unexpected in a good way, it's how, surprisingly, there was a lot of comedy that I thought was pretty good. Now, not all of it was good. There were a couple of jokes that I was like, eh. But on a whole, it had a couple of jokes that I found really, really amusing. And the audience did too. I mean, there were quite a few points where the audience, if not me, were chuckling pretty hard with whatever joke was happening in the movie. But the problem is the story is so cheesy. I mean, if I could think of one primary reason why this movie flopped in the box office, it would really be this. I mean, on a whole, the story was pretty much just Hairspray, Glee, and High School Musical. Only difference is that it has rock and roll. Now, for actors and characters, Sherry and Drew, I think they are kind of the sole reason why this movie fell so flat, because of their romance. It was pretty much just plain Glee. I mean, I won't say what happened, but deep down you can tell that they were pretty much just the Rachel and Finn, or Troy and Gabrielle, if you will, for this movie. So it just wasn't that entertaining. You might find it entertaining if you actually are a fan of Glee and High School Musical and like those kinds of romances. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty bad. Now, Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand being Danny and Lonnie, separated they weren't too special. I mean, Russell Brand was being, well, Russell Brand, and Alec Baldwin was pretty much just being Jack Donaghy from 30 Rock. But together, they were hilarious. They were awesome. I mean, they have one scene. I'm not going to say what happened, but look forward to that scene if you watch the movie, because it is awesome. Like, just easily one of the best parts of the movie. Now, Tom Cruise being Stacey Jax, I will say I'm not a big fan of Tom Cruise in general. You know, come out of the closet, Scientologist, you know, that whole South Park bit. But when I did see him in the trailers of this movie, where I actually see him singing, I have to admit, he looked like he was going to be a pretty interesting character and pretty entertaining all around. And for the most part, I was not disappointed. He sang well, he danced well, he acted like a rock star well. He did a pretty good job. Now, if it wasn't for the couple of issues I had with the music, I wouldn't even really bother with having a music section for this review, because why would I? I mean, everyone knows this music. It's awesome. It's excellent classical rock and roll music, and it's in this movie, and we love it. Dead or alive, pour some sugar on me. I love rock and roll, jukebox heroes, we built this city, we're not going to take it anymore. The list just goes on and on and on and on. So, if it wasn't for these couple of things, I would just stick with saying it's awesome. If I had to put an actual section of talking about music for this review, if I didn't have these issues. But unfortunately, I do. I mean, personally, I would have liked Living on a Prayer in this movie, considering how awesome it is. And then, warning, spoilers, so if you do not want to know what the spoil is, just move on to this section of the timeline so you can skip this. Now, my other issue, really the big one, is Don't Stop Believing. I mean, I loved it at first. I mean, Drew was playing it a little, and then the way he ended it was pretty cute. But then the song became the finale song, which I was like, really? That has a Glee style all over it. I mean, true, it's based on a Broadway musical that came a couple of years before the movie came out. But honestly, when we watch that ending, what are we going to think of more? A show that everyone knows, where they like it or not? Or this Broadway musical that we've only just about, or the majority of the people know about now, thanks to this movie? I think it goes without saying that we're giving that to the show. We're going to know that the most, so that when we watch the ending, we're going to think Glee instead of Rock of Ages for that kind of ending. So that's my one issue. Now, most of the editing was pretty good, but there was a point the second time that Sherry and Drew were behind the Hollywood sign, and there was a cut where at the very end of the first shot, we have Drew kind of having his arms open or something like that, but then once it cuts, he's automatically just going, or something like that. So, bad deal just because of that was just a bad case of continuity. And that's my review for Rock of Ages. If you want to see a movie with awesome rock and roll, really nice choreography, and heck, maybe even a story that's so similar to Hairspray, Glee, and High School Musical, chances are you're going to get what you paid for and you're going to love it. But otherwise, it's really just the music and the comedy and maybe the actors, because you may be a big fan of Alec Baldwin or Tom Cruise or something like that, that will really just make this in any way entertaining for you. So altogether, I give this movie a 60% out of 100. So if you want to see more video reviews, you can check them out in my channel. But if you want to see more, log on to my blog at hacksreviews.blogspot.com, where I have plenty of reviews that you could read and enjoy. Until then, everyone, I'm Hack. And if you want to know what that stands for and what in the world it has to do with my intro, feel free to ask me.